This is the last Friday of the month, and we roll into August on Tuesday. A couple of quick notes. If you are not already a client and want to get our sales calculator, which tells you everything from how many dials your staff needs to make, reaches, what your impressions need to be on Facebook, everything to generate the responses, the appointments, the presentations, and the ultimate enrollments, as well as our production per payroll hour guide for the month of August. It's already set up for the month of August, and you can modify it based on your days of the week. Just send us a note, whether you're seeing us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, wherever it is you're seeing us. Just reach out and fill out the form, and we'll get it to you ASAP. Now, as our client, everyone should already have it. If you haven't, it may have bounced back to us and we're not aware of it. So by all means, say something and we'll get it to you ASAP. But we'll do what we can to make sure everybody's got it. I want to talk to you about two things today. One, the 3 most important hours you can spend next week in your center that will yield, in many cases, 10 times the revenue you have in any other 3-hour period of the week. For that matter, for the month. And the second thing I want to talk exclusively to the staff. If you are endorsing a check as opposed to signing a check for your staff, if you are a staff member, you have to endorse a check. You're getting paid to work in the center. I want to talk to you. So let's start with the 3 most important hours. I've noticed a trend over the last couple of years, and the trend is for a lot of weight loss offerings, whether it's a medical practice, a chiropractic clinic, a weight loss center. I've noticed a disturbing trend, and that trend is to start closing at 5 o'clock or closing at 6 o'clock. Bad idea. Whether it's every day of the week you're doing that or a few days of the week, you've got to find some way, because you are leaving money on the table with people that are not reaching out to you because they know you're not available. These are people that are ready, willing, and able to spend money, but you've got to be available to them. Can you imagine if a retailer that you liked closed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Where are you during the day? You're at work. And our demographic dictates that by default, our customers, our prospects, our consumers are employed. So most of those, although the dynamic has shifted quite a bit in the last few years, they're fundamentally employed 9 to 6, 8 to 5, 7:30 to 3, 7 to 3:30, something like that, or they're working later. So you've got to make sure you've got some window. Now, the reason I bring this up is even if you're not open during that time, there's a way to capitalize on this. Every single center, if you're not doing it already, should be calling 2, maybe 3 days a week until 9 o'clock at night. I don't believe there's a single state that we have a center we do business with in that has any kind of state mandated legislation that prohibits you from calling after 8 o'clock. I think you have until 9 o'clock. You would be amazed if you just spent next Tuesday, and by the way, Tuesdays are the best days to do that, next Tuesday, to make sure everyone was on the phone, or you did the preponderance of dialing, outbound calling from 6 until 9. And here's why. In many cases, a lot of companies have just stopped calling because they're not employing staff that are willing to make those calls. So or the ownership or the management that isn't realizing, hey, we're leaving a ton of jack on the table. So you need to at least one night a month, preferably 2, and ideally 3 nights a month. Now, for some of you, if you've got active patient, client, or member traffic of 100 people or less, odds are your lead flow is such that you could probably get away with this just 1 evening a month, 2 at the most. If you've got 100 to 150 active traffic in your center, active members, clients, patients, it's probably definitely 2. And if you've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 active patients at any given time coming through your center in the course of the month, even multiple visits, 200 unique visits coming in each month, then you definitely need to be doing this 3 nights a month. So we have the scripts, we have the times, we have the ideal protocol for it, we even have the lead management system for it. So if you're one of our clients and you're hearing this, just ask us for it and we'll provide it. If you're not one of our clients and want to explore that, I'll give you our commercial in a second. Now I want to talk to employees, to staff. I don't care if you're a part-timer, full-timer, weight loss sales advisor, treatment manager, the assistant manager, the area manager. I don't care what role you're playing in the center. I'm going to give you some dirt on your fellow employees. Odds are you don't sit around and share ideas that are working for each other. Odds are when no one's looking, you're bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining about someone else on the staff, or your manager, or your area manager, or the ownership, or corporate, or something. It's human nature. I'm not picking on anybody. It's just human nature to fall into that trap, to whine, bitch, moan, and complain. Hey, even ownership does it. I've managed as many as 400 franchisees. I can guarantee you, rarely, if ever, did any franchisee call another franchisee and say, let me tell you, I know you weren't expecting this call. Let me tell you the phenomenal success we're having in our center right now. They don't want to do that because it sounds like they're bragging and they're shoving it in the face of somebody else that maybe they're doing better than someone else is. You need to change your thinking. You need to talk about positive things that are going on in the center. But if you are saddled with working side by side with someone who always wants to complain, who's always moaning, who's always bitching, who's always whining, separate yourself from them. Be polite, but separate from them as much as you can. I'm going to be quite frank with you, and I know a lot of my former employees and coworkers that watch these on a regular basis will identify with it. I never socialized with them. I never went out with them. I never hung with them. I didn't go to lunch with them because a lot of them whined, bitched, moaned, and complained. But guess what? The ones that didn't, they weren't hanging with that crowd either. So find out, determine who you're going to hang with, because that stuff starts to seep in after a while. And then you go home and you spout the same whining, bitching, moaning, and complaining. And then your family's like, you really ought to quit that job. They don't pay you enough to do what you do. Do they realize they'd be out of business if it weren't for you? What a bunch of poppycock. All because you're a party to the whining, the moaning, the bitching, and the complaining. Separate yourself from it. Surround yourself with positive elements. Even if you have to go to YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn to find something that's positive, separate yourself from those people. If you're hanging with people that are always posting things like, oh my God, I just want one night of good sleep, or another difficult day, or can I catch a break? These people they're poison. Stay away from them. The ones that are always out there wanting you to know what their problems are, that does not positively benefit you in any way, shape, or form. So hang with people that you want to grow from. Hang with people that are doing better than you. Hang with people that you can learn lessons from, that you can move your success forward. I want to leave you with one comment. Something I used to hear all the time. Well, of course, I would say, I don't have a problem putting these hours in or engaging in this activity or doing whatever it was. And my coworkers always say the same thing, whether they were employees, coworkers. Well, yeah, sure. If I were getting paid what you're getting paid, I'd do the same thing. Well, guess what? I did it when I was getting paid the same amount they were. The exact same amount. The difference was I had a completely different attitude. I got in early, even when I wasn't on the clock. I worked harder. I worked faster. I got more done. Wasn't pretty. It was ugly. Made huge mistakes. Got fired a few times, but got promoted 12, 13, 14 times. Made millions in the weight loss business. Hey, this is all about where your focus is. If you're going to focus on people that are negative around you, you're going to get sucked into the abyss they're a part of. But if you want to hang out with people that are positive, especially if you're having a rough time, the worst thing you can do is commiserate with somebody. You need to find some people that things are going well for them so their mojo will rub off on you. So that's my message to you as a staffer. If you're with some stinking thinker, get as far away from their pollution as you possibly can. Be polite about it, because, man, they'll get ugly with you the minute they figure out what you're doing. but get as far away from them as you can and focus on those that are positive and that are around you. This has been a phenomenal month for you that are ownership and senior managers in your weight loss offering. Fundamentally, July is over with. You've done everything you can do. If you're where the rubber meets the road and you're a staffer, you still have some things you can do between today, for those of you that are open tomorrow, as well as into Monday. You can really rally and do exceptionally well. A lot of you are getting ready to hit your second and third bonuses. A lot of you are making bigger commission checks than you've ever made. A lot of you as ownership have had an incredibly profitable month. And some of us were kind of scratching our heads. The planets kind of went into alignment for a lot of you. There wasn't any special marketing and advertising that you did. I think it's the work that you did in May and June. As we always say, what you do now pays off in 90 days. It was the work you did in May and June paid off in July, so keep that momentum going. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will talk to you first thing on Monday. If not, we'll see you even more often later today. Bye-bye.